Hey there, everyone. Happy New Year. It's your friends from the Prime Real Estate team. Well, me, anyways. It's been a little bit difficult getting everyone together for the past few days. Always kind of complicated just after the holiday season and all of that. Plus the fact that it's been busy around here, but I'm going to get to that for you in just a couple moments here. Just want to give you our real estate update for the month of December 2025 and also a little year-round summary as well, too about how things went for the entire year. So first of all, there's been a number of things happening. Obviously, first week of the year, we got our property assessments coming out. We've already had a lot of contacts from past clients and friends who have asked about what's going on. Most people's assessments have gone up a tiny little bit. The average was something like 2% out there in BC. I know that mine went up as well too. What does that mean for the rest of you? It's the same story as always. It really means nothing. The property assessment really is just a number that your municipality needs to establish your share of property taxes for the year. You know, something that came up when my conversation yesterday with the chief economist of the British Columbia Real Estate Association, Brendan Ogmanson. He said something that I never really think about, and I should a little more nowadays. He said, who cares about what a property was worth in July, anyways? And that got me thinking, that's true. Like when we do a market analysis on properties, we seldom go back more than 3 months, anyways. In fact, depending on what the market is doing, sometimes all we look at is the last 30 days or the last 40 days. Right now, where we're at right now, that was 6 months ago. And then any sort of research that we do market evaluation wise on properties in the coming months just makes it even that much further. So the number really doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about what happened in the year. So I'm going to put our stats on the board as I often do. So we ended up in December with 367 sales. That was down 12.8% from last year. Our inventory active listings 2,500. That is also up 11.1%. There's more choices out there, folks. I'm going to get to that with you in a moment. Average price for Greater Victoria single family home, 1,259,217, which shows up as a reduction of 3.8% from this time last year. This time last year. This is an important point for me to bring up to you. I want to show you our unit sales for the month, and we'll also talk about the year while I'm at it too. So we ended up at 6,918 sales for December 2025. That was just a smidge up from the year before. It was 0.36%. Wasn't even 1%. It was 0.36%. Um, what the British Columbia Real Estate Association and other media have been reporting is the fact that it is below our 10-year average. And, you know, it's funny. I had to think about that. In fact, I did the math. I did an average of our last 10 years worth of sales numbers. And it is true. If you're curious, the 10-year average is 8,764. 8,764. I want to point out to you though, when you look at the sales for the year ends here, last year actually was the highest, 2025 was the highest out of the last 4 years. So 2024, 2023, 2021, all around that 6,000, between 6,000, 6,200 and 6,900. So it was all within the same realm in 4 years. But of course, when you look at the 10-year average, this also includes a couple of huge years, right? We had, of course, COVID, post COVID, 10,000 units in 2021. And then before that, it was 2016, I think it was, with 10,600. Those were big years. So, of course, if you're looking at a 10-year average, we're looking at some of those larger numbers. It's going to feel that way. Again, let's look at our active listings for the month. We ended up, as I said, 2,544 listings. Yeah, that is up. We've had months in the past where it was 3,800, 3,700. Sure. But in the past few years, I think this is the highest that we've had in the last, I think it was 10 years or something like that. So there is selection out there. We have selection. We have interest rates that are probably as low as they're going to be for a little bit. It is most definitely feeling more like a buyer environment out there, which is a shift. This is a change. I want to show you a couple more other things here as well too. The surveys that the real estate board does, you'll find this interesting. We're shifting now, by the way, into our year-end report. So the year-end, I just said our sales numbers were up a little bit for 2025. Interesting thing, if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching our monthly updates, the last part of the year, sales were slower. Unquestionably, things were softer. We started off 2025 pretty strong, actually. So that's the reason why we ended up where we did, which was about a tie with 2024. It's because of the fact that we started stronger, but we ended a little bit softer. But then the question is, what's going to happen in the coming days here? Again, we're feeling all right. We are feeling that because of the fact that the interest rates are unlikely going to be announced to be any lower. Buyers are out there. Our mortgage brokers are telling us that they're doing more pre-approvals right now. So we get the sense that there's going to be more activity out there at the very least the first quarter of 2026. Mark my words, we're going to see if I was right about that. Let's talk about surveys because the real estate board conducts surveys every year. And I want to show you what this is because whenever a sale happens, agents are asked certain questions. I said there's 6,800 sales. There were 3,281 respondents to these questions. Some things you might find interesting. New homes, 77% of the purchases. Previously occupied, 90%. Non-residential, a little bit smaller. Here's some other questions here, folks. First-time buyers represented 26.6% of the respondents. That's an interesting one because we hear every day about how expensive real estate is, which is true, and how difficult it is for people to buy their first homes, which is also true. But it does tell us that it is possible to be a first-time home buyer because there's 26% of the purchases who are. This could mean different types of housing, though. Could mean condominiums, lower priced homes, things like that. Other things in the mix here. So number one, first time buyer. Number two, moving up. They want larger homes, 14%. Number three is relocation, coming from a different location, for instance. How do buyers finance the properties? Higher ratio mortgages, so that's less than 20% down. Only 10%, according to the survey here. The majority are conventional mortgages. And by the way, 23%. It's a bigger number. It's a big number. It's the second biggest here, all cash. So no mortgage, 23%. Some other things we talk about the structure. Is it a single person, male, female, kids, things like that? This is an interesting one for us in the real estate industry. How did buyers learn about the property? 51% is through the real estate agent, through a real estate search. The ones that you might be interested in is how many times did people buy because they drove by a real estate sign or they went to an open house? Doesn't happen that often. Real estate sign, 1.59, oh, sorry, 1.07%. That's how many times it happens, 1% of the time. So you don't get a lot of sales directly off of for sale signs. I want to talk about origins because we also look at buyer origins, and I know that I've gone through this with you before. So for the full year of 2025, we discover here that buyers originated 91.28% of the time in Canada, in British Columbia. I'm sorry, British Columbia, 91.28%. And we had 75% of them from Greater Victoria. Actually, it's 76%, 75.97. 76% of buyers move within Greater Victoria. And then we had smaller numbers after that as well, too, which equates to 91.28%. Then we had a little bit from the rest of Canada. Outside Canada, here's interesting. We had 1.65%, the majority of which was 1.4% from the States. And by the way, this is residence, this is not citizenship. We all know that there's quite a few Canadian citizens who live in the States, and some of them have decided to move back up to Canada because they can, because they're not a foreign buyer, they're a Canadian buyer. So 1.4% US, small amounts, Europe, Asia, and other. Asia, 0.02%. So again, folks, it always comes up about foreign buyers and foreign buyers driving real estate prices up. Well, number one, we got a foreign buyer ban in Canada, right? A national foreign buyer ban. Plus, we have foreign buyer tax. We've got a whole bunch of other things on residential properties. We're just not seeing, we're basically seeing no foreign purchases. So what's happening is the stability in the pricing out there in our Victoria real estate market has to do with the fact that it still remains a place in a marketplace that people want to come to. So, what's going to happen for this year, 2026? As I said from the very start, it's feeling like it's a busy start. I'm kind of boasting, but I am proud to say my first sale in 2026 was 10 o'clock a.m. on January the 1st. 10 o'clock a.m. on January the 1st. So it started off, and it has been a very busy week for us as a team already, too. Um, we feel that the first quarter of the year, at least, there's going to be a bit of a rubber band effect. You know, people who have been thinking about doing something for the past little bit, they are going to enter the real estate market. So it has the possibility of being a very busy year with rates likely holding or being very close to where they've been all this time. Other variables, and by the way, I mentioned Brandon Augmundson, the chief economist of British Columbia Real Estate Association. I'm going to put a link to the YouTube video below here. A great conversation I had with him. That's for our radio program, for our CFAX program. And by the way, I don't talk about that often, but you probably know I've had a program on CFAX 1070 for 7 years now. We've done 370 episodes. If you're ever around, you can listen to it noon on Saturdays or podcast because we podcast the Whole Home Show with Tony Joe on iTunes or wherever all fine podcasts can be downloaded. Lots of great information. I have local businesses, local services, people real estate related. I get to learn. It's a fantastic thing. Anyways, the last thing I want to leave you with here as well too, just the statistic. And again, this is a source of pride for me. We always look at the top 100 list in Western Canada production wise. And here we are sitting at number 51 in Western Canada. So, of course, that's Manitoba West. This is important because of the fact that we compete. A lot of the teams ahead of us here are huge. We are a four-person team. There are teams here that are 40 or 50 people. So we compete with much larger groups. There's some other productive teams in Victoria. We are still small. There are five other teams ahead of us, but a whole bunch of teams behind us. And the reason why I'm proud to announce this is I am thankful. We at the Prime Real Estate Team are thankful for your continued support. You continue to introduce us to your friends and family and count on us yourselves when you're buying or selling real estate. That means a lot. And this is the reason why we can provide the services and have the expertise to share that we do as well too. So we're always here for you. Anyways, there we go. 2025. What we are looking forward to for 2026. As always, I'm going to put the information link for statistics into the box here, plus the link to the YouTube video for the chief economist. And as always, if ever you have questions or if 2026 is a year that you're thinking of doing something for real estate, just let us know. Speaking of which, by the way, my radio program team has a webinar that is booked for January the 31st. It is home buying here in Greater Victoria. We've got our mortgage broker, our home insurance agent, our lawyer, our property inspector, and myself talking about the process. If you know someone who should attend and would like to join, please share the link I'm going to put below here to any of them. There we go, guys. We'll be here for you this time next month. See you later.